As a new dad, a question I would like to ask someone like you. You said you have 4 kids.
Yes.
Like, did you always want to be a father?
Definitely, I always wanted to be a dad. I never knew that I would be a young dad because this is my firstborn, like I was literally maybe 25 years old. Because I'm more of a very career kind of person. Like, I knew that I'm gonna be like traveling out, cooking all over the world. This is my thing. So my thinking of being a dad, probably I thought I'd be a dad when I'm past 30. But then I got married when I was like almost 25 to 26 years old, and my firstborn was like my daughter 9 months after marriage. So sharpshooter. But anyway, it is what it is. So I always wanted to be a dad because I knew definitely, coming from a background, a Muslim, Swahili background, we say unatimiza dini kwa kuwa, it's like you half of your religion, like half a religion ukishaoa it's like you've umekamilisha, something like that. So it is part of our culture, tradition, and yes, I knew that I always want to be a dad.
Chef, ulikuwa unataka kuwa mbaba from...
Si mbaba lakini mzae. Hapo kwa mbaba kidogo tricks. Zafanya mponi ulize rada.
Unataka kuwa baba ama?
Mimi ni baba actually. Mimi ni baba. Niko na mtu yako 8 years old.
That is amazing.
Ako almost kuta 9 hapo hivyo. So nizasema katu venye Ali amesema, mimi ni Muslim. I'm a Muslim, yeah, born Muslim. And as we are raised, ni zile za unajua maturity ya tuseme hivi ni Kenya ni kufike 18, si kama Islam 18 wewe you are considered as a man. Unaona, ukifika 14 wewe ni mtu unaweza marry, sawa? So mimi nilimari nikiwa 18 years old.
Amazing bro.
18 years old ndo nilimari. Na hapo ndo nikapata mtoi. Mimi niko bado ndaniandoa.
Hapo sema I mean at young dad nimeoa nikiwa 25. Okay, all right guys.
18. Kama mpenda mbona usimari. So hapo ndo nikamari na sasa niko na mniaju na hiyo ndio inaweza sema inani inspire na pia bado inani motivate.
I always wanted to be a dad. Because I had a kind of tumultuous relationship with my own dad. So for the longest time, I always looked at him in terms of, I feel like I can do so much better when it comes to being a father. And that is what really informed like that deep desire. But I will say this about my dad. Now that I have a son, finally, I'm starting to understand him. And I don't know that this could ever have happened kama singekuwa na mtoto. Because for the longest time, my dad was like an enigma. I didn't really understand him. But now that I have a son, I kind of get how he was living his life. The late nights, they're not really saying much about, things he's gone through or the things he's going through, and that really informed like my decision to I always wanted to be a dad. My first born was just born. He was born in March. I am 34, 35. I'm not sure.
I'm not sure of my age either, so don't worry.
Yeah, but basically I remember there was like a very overwhelming feeling when I first saw my son. I realized I should have started a lot sooner. I realized I probably should have started at 18, like Chef over here. Like, I don't know if that was the same feeling for either of you, but me, when I saw my first child, I was like, oh, this is what I was put on this planet to do. Like it came and it was such an overwhelming feeling of, this is what you should have been doing, because I feel like now that I have this little guy in my life, everything just seems to be a lot clearer in terms of, you're not really overthinking things in terms of, oh my gosh, how am I feeling? It's just about, this needs to get done because of so and so. And it really helps you like zero in on your focus and what you need to achieve and what you need to get done.
Very true.
Yeah, so I don't know, was that the same experience when you first saw your firstborn and you're like, what was that feeling?
Oh my God, unbelievable. Like you literally see like something that looks like you and feels like you at the end of the day. It's like I cannot explain that moment. First thing, like, the first person to ever hold my baby was definitely myself after the doctor. And literally just holding the baby with your hands feels blessed. And we say, kila mtoto anakuja na riski yake at the end of the day. So sometimes people would definitely get like this thing in their head, like, kuleta mtoto umeleta mzigo, It's like, it's like now you have to work even more harder to be able to raise this child. But believe me, it's a blessing. Like every child comes with a blessing at the end of the day. I know people right now, they're looking at the economy and nasema we cannot have more than 2 or more than 2 is enough because economy mbaya. But we believe in a child comes with a blessing at the end of the day. So literally holding that first child, I was like, I'm gonna have more. And I have 4 right now. Just last week I had another baby, and I wish I could have even more, but sometimes circumstances doesn't allow because we go through cesarean section, and it's reached a point that the doctor says it's enough. You cannot do more than 4.
Yeah.
But the good news for me is that the doctor was like, you just need to take a little bit of a break, and then you can probably have more. And I believe in a blessing. I've literally seen the blessings that comes with a child. So bro, have more than 1, 2, 3 and 4. Each child comes with a blessing at the end of the day. So muendelee tu. Muendelee. Wanakuja na kisani yake, nakuja na baraka yake. That's basically what we say. So yes, the feeling is undescribable and literally just fills your heart with more fun, joy and happiness.
Yeah.
Umeongelea story ya mzee wako, as in finally una understand point ya mzee wako, rather the life you've been through with you and your dad. Before me, I've been raised by a single mom. Sijakuwa na hiyo tuseme nini ya mzae. So mimi nilianza kuwa buda kitambo hata before nipate mtoi. Since mimi nilikuwa first, okay, tuko twins, but mimi ndo nimelelewa na mkoro na bro wangu na sister yangu wadogo. So mimi nilikuwa mzee kwa hiyo family bado. So bado nilikuwa baba before nikuwe baba. Siko na rada hiyo design. So time nilikuja kuwa na mtoi, nilikuwa na zile za kama nilikuwa nasaidia kwa family yenye iko na mkoro, iko na bro, iko na mtasis. Siwezi shindwa kushikilia ati mtu yamekama. But feeling ilikuwa amazing since tuseme hadi umededi, because sio reta dedi. Kuna mtu anaitwa jina yako, kuna mtu kuna surname yako mahali na rada hiyo design. So feeling ni amazing.
Like that, man. Yeah, talking about our own fathers at the end of the day. So my father is a very quiet one. I would say a very opposite side of me. So I take most of my talking and my public image from my mom. She's very outspoken. My dad is a very quiet person at the end of the day, but of course super strict. So I grew up in a family that my mom is the most spoken one, my dad is so quiet, but kila siku naomba ule mpole mwogope, So when we do something wrong, we come from a family that will definitely get whooped easily. Tunachapwa.
Who's the disciplinarian? The mom or the dad?
That's my dad. And you see, he's a quiet one, but you do something wrong once in a while, bro. You're just gonna face it in a way that, and I wouldn't say that that literally shaped me to who I am at the end of the day. Because you see, your mom will just be like very nice to you, maybe would shout to you a little bit, but my dad was the quiet one, but it reached the point that sengine ukifanya ukurutu sana, ukifanya like something very bad, you definitely have to be punished for that. And that punishment would be very nice. But it shaped me or my brothers and sisters to a way that it literally made us who we are today.
Yeah.
One thing, my dad wouldn't touch my sisters. But for us, what do you have, Lana?
That's definitely...
Bro.
it's the same thing in our family.
Yes.
Like the girls and how they're treated by our father,
yes.
how they were treated by our father. It was yes. totally different.
Yes.
Like for us, it was for...
Yes.
Kufuata, like there's a very narrow path into njia ya kufuata, and anytime you get off of it,
yes.
unarudishwa immediately.
Yes. Yes.
Disciplinarian, my mom would be the disciplinarian, but there were like levels to it.
Yes.
Kuna ile level inafika unaambiwa ebuka hapo ngoje baba yako. Kwa sababu
ndio hivyo.
Ndio
hapo this case, you know,
mimi kesi siwezi deny solo. So buka hapo ngoje baba yako. And you know our dad he'd never liked beating us. Sometimes he would take you all the way up to lala chini, and he removes the kiboko and you can see him struggling. Anakutishia anakwambia bu sit up, buka ka. So he had this way of talking to you that would make you want ungeni chapa.
That's true, because you see, that could literally traumatize you because you're like, man, just get it done with, you know?
Yeah,
get
but
it done with.
He would talk to you and make you feel so disappointed in your actions.
So yeah, for us, once in a while, tumekungutwa. I literally remember like the very few times. And once my brother went to, there's a beach called Madubaha, but it's not very safe because you see, kuna wahuni huko anaenda, you know, watu wa drugs and all, so it's not very safe. And as kids, we loved to go and swim there because you see, when you are a child and you're told not to do something, you really want to do it, so that because you'll be like, okay, what if I go? What's gonna happen, you know? So my bro once went there, akaenda kaoga kamaliza, and then when my dad came home, was literally looking for him, akamba ameonekana Madubaha. And it's literally like maybe like a few blocks away from our home. So I remember my dad went there. That's one of the I would say like the scenarios that it was like literally punishment, yani si ya kawaida. My brother was pulled through his ear from that place to home to my mom. Kamba mkale mtoto wako huyu. You can imagine that way, you know. But you see, my brother would always speak about there and say, this is what shaped me, because I never went to that place anymore, and my children will never go to that place anymore. So it's like, you see, it's a life lesson that we learn from our parents or our fathers that you'd never forget.
Yeah.
So it's good to listen sometimes.
Yeah, for sure.
Mi experience ya mzae nilipata kwa my uncle. Yeah, yeye ndo amekuwa nitasema amekuwa mzee wangu all along since my mama traveled. Sasa iko saa lazima kuna someone who's looking after us, so tumekuwa na my uncle, ndio amekuwa kitu ship. Naweza dai kuuliza, or rather naweza dai kuuliza Ali, since ndo uko na watu wanne. For you, which one do you prefer, advising or caning?
Well, yeah, my first two children are girls, and again, you see, I wouldn't want to cane my girls, but sometimes, like, honestly, I like pressure yangu ikinipanda, like literally, like I would do something crazy, but not literally hitting, but I would literally maybe kind of hold her in a way and just make her sit and talk to her that way, you know? It's like what Brian just said, like you literally want to do something, but then you feel like, I can't, you know? Here's the thing. So, but I would literally be aggressive a little bit, kind of hold, place somewhere and talk and make you look at me into my eyes. So, caning is not my thing. But I'm very strict because nitakutolea macho in a way that you see my girls would literally just go away. Yeah. Like it's African parenting at the end of the day. It's like I come from the Swahili world. So for us, caning is normal. You know, in madrasa when we go tunachapwa na kikoto. So if I can't do that, so I normally have a kikoto at home, which is basically a whoop. It's a traditional Swahili whoop. We always have been caned in madrasa. So there's a ma'alima who comes to teach my daughters. So the other day I was walking in at home and they were actually being kama nabombeshwa na mwalimu. Nikamwambia mwalimu, shika hii kikoto. Tandika wao. Because you see, it's like, if I can do it, you see, you know, because you see, usofunzwa na ulimwengu, mzazi wako atafunzwa na ulimwengu. I think there's a Swahili something like that. Asofunzwa na mamaye atafunzwa na ulimwengu. So if I cannot do that, because I probably feel like, my girls, you know, then I'd rather have that ma'allima or madrasa, because you see, it is part of life.
Yeah.
For us, when we go to madrasa, kuchapwa ni lazima. So in ukikosa, that's the only way. So I'll be like, shika hiki koto alafu nikaenda kwa room. And I was like, yeah, you continue, do what you gotta do. But it's basically part of life at the end of the day, and it's just the growing up process.
Yeah, because when I think of caning, like caning might be, like a low frequency way of looking at it, but the point is like punishment. And I mean, now I'm a new dad, but most of the time muka hivi najiuliza,
Nitaeza.
kuna ile siku I will have to do something that probably I know my son won't like, but I know will be good for him.
For him, yes.
Unanielewa? Like causing him misery now to prevent more misery later in his life. And I feel like that's such a tough line to walk, whether it's in giving them punishment or inculcating discipline. Because when it comes to kiboko, unasema okay, sitatumia kiboko, but let me figure out a way, or maybe you give them time out and ukae hapo kwa hiyo corner. Don't look at anyone, sit in that corner, think about what you've done. Like you can come up with so many ways of like doing that. But now that I have a child, you love this person so much.
Don't you feel like
Una feel like, wow. Immediately umemwambia bwana enda kwa hiyo kona, unajua ndo unaenda kwa room unajiita meeting uko like,
what did I do?
Au mtoi yake.
What did I do?
Atajifikiria sana akiwa hapo kwa hiyo kona.
It is true, yeah. You get that feeling literally. Hata saa ingine ukimchapa tu kidogo hivi pia you feel like guilty. Like I always feel guilty. Yeah. I always feel guilty, but sometimes some things just have to be done for the sake of the child to grow at the end of the day. Some things you just have to take risks at some point, And mtoi wangu wa kwanza Aliana, she's such a lovely girl, but I can easily say that aski sana, like ni mtukutu, And all my 3 children, of course the 4th one is like super tiny. Put them in one room together, just make it look nice, come back after 15 minutes, you utamchapa tu. It's like literally everything will be messed up, You'd either shout, the mom would always shout, but I'll be the one that to super discipline in terms of like, the proper discipline. So I'll be like, you can't do this. And the moment you stop them, they'll still repeat and do it again at the end of the day. So they'll mess up everything. So ni awasiki, but ni watoto. They always grow up. But you see, it's good sometimes to discipline them, as much as you can.
I have a brother who aliona video nikichange diaper. Unajua nilipigiwa simu nikiulizwa, bro, una change diaper? Una change diaper? And I don't blame him, because before I was a father, I think maybe my mind space was also in that kind of space of like, nani, mimi change diaper, aje sasa. But now that I have a boy, like one of the first things I dedicated myself to learning even before he came out of the womb, I just knew I need to be able to change that diaper, So I guess my question would be like, what are the biggest differences between, our fathers or father figures and men of today, and the things we are involved in terms of parenting? For me, I don't think, like what informed the previous generation were like gender roles, but I feel like right now it's a lot more fluid, because mi siwezi sikia baridi hata nikienda hapo kwa street sahi, people are looking at me changing my son, because I know this is my boy. I will change him until the day he does not need changing. And there are things that now I take so much pleasure and joy doing, even if it's warming the bottle, feeding him, like I want to feel, kwa sababu sasa unajua unaangalia nipples zako unasema wow, zake ziko useless, especially now when the baby is so young. You're like, sasa huyu mtu nitamsaidiaje? And sometimes you can feel useless because you're like, now what do I do? So you have to find a way of like making your support felt, not just beyond like paying the bills, kama uko hapo usikae tu una watch TV, you know, like take the baby, learn how to soothe them, how to burp them, and I feel like it has really helped me bond with my son.
Bro, it all comes with unachiki mtu mwenye anadai kupata mtoi na mtu adai kupata mtoi mwenye amekuja bahati mbaya. Hao ni watu wawili tofauti. Tseme kuna ule mtu anakuja anaambiwa tseme uko engaged, or rather you are in a relationship actually. So umdemu uko kwa relationship na yeye, umpatie ball, either uko unataka buko unataka akushoa kuna ball. So kuanzia hapo ndio wewe na judge the kind of a dad you're gonna be. If utakuwa zile za wewe toa mdema anakwambia ai kutoa kweli hapana mimi nitakeep, hapo bado kuna venye wewe hauko idha kuomza, bado uko idha ya kupiga masherehe na manini mavitu kama hivyo. But tukiwa zile za kana umtoi mkeep na as in set mind zile za saizi sasa I'm becoming a dad, na ingie kwa roho iko wenyewe unadai kuwa mzae, utajipata tu hizi vitu zina happen tu out of nowhere naturally, unaelewa. Lakini ikiwa zile za mimi siko nataka mtoi lakini ameleta mtoi sijui mara, ndio unapata hadi mtu ako na mtoi lakini unachiki mtu watu wamezei na vitu kama hizo. Alafu naweza sema pia hiyo patia nakumbuka alikuwa amekuuliza swali ya ku display ama ku advice. Yes. Mimi ni mse mwenye apart from kukuwa dad, before nikuwe dad nilikuwa na learn pia vitu as in the environment. Nafikiria the best way ya a dad to raise mtoi wake ni kumfanya either akue mdema ama boys, ni kumfanya akue free na yeye. Mimi mtoi wangu anaweza niambia kitu yoyote design akifeel hadi kwa kitu weird zile za dad kuna kitu fulani nimeanza kuona ama kuna unaelewa azina ko free hiyo design, kwa sababu hiyo kitu atukupata nazo. Umesikia nyote mmesema mzae alikuwa anachapa mabuda lakini wasichana wako wanachapwa, so wewe haukuwa free na mzae juu mzae hakuwa free na wewe, unaelewa. So that's the thing we're supposed to do right now, like environment unaangalia zile za wewe haukuwa ni wapi haukuwa ukiwa na mzae, uweke mtoi wako ndo at least mkigrow na grow kama mama. Mimi nimeona mzae na kijana wanacheza, uwezi jua ni mzae na kijana, lakini venye mzae ameset mind yake na kijana, una get. So I think that's the best way to raise our kids.
I love that, bro, and I feel like for you it's going to be amazing because you said your first your son is like 8 now, yeah, and you got him when you were 18, so hii ni kama mnakuwa pamoja, so it reaches a point mtoto atakufikia kimo wewe sasa hivi mtakuwa sawa, utatoka mali utaonekana kama best kumbe ni mtoto wako, you know. And this also happens with girls right now. So you see my girl is almost 10 years old, and in maybe 6 years she'll probably be my height, and I'd walk with her. At the end of the day people won't tell if she's my daughter. And again, I love what you just said, that you know we need to be free with our children, talk to them. For me, even if I come from a strict Muslim family, I want to be very open with my daughters. I've already told that to my wife, that I want to talk to my girls, because these are things that when we grew up, my sisters were probably afraid to speak to the dad, yeah, about something they like, you know. Yeah. And it's about time that we need to be open-minded and also try and guide them in terms of, because of course we all grew up, we all got crushes in school, we all, like at the end of the day, like I remember like my first ever crush that I've had, I was in school, I was probably I think 12 years old, and there's a girl that I liked, but I couldn't tell anybody, you know, because I was like, maybe we're not supposed to date. I come from a family that is not supposed to date. I'm only gonna get married, you know, something like that. So I want to be free with my daughters as well, because it will reach a point that probably they'd be approached, you know. So it's good to be free and talk to them. And I've already told that to my wife, and my wife is like, you know, they'll be too young to discuss such issues. I'm like, no, it's important. And as a father, I want to play a role and talk to them, yeah, about it. Will reach an age, you know, they'll be grown up at the end of the day, and you know, things may happen. So you definitely want to also guide them and, yeah, tell them this is how things are, and you know how you protect yourself at the end of the day. So it's good. So I love the fact that we need to speak to our children, and I want to play that big role, especially with my daughters and definitely my sons who are a bit younger, but then yeah, I'd be that father that would talk to them openly.
Kiboko yenyewe si kitu inasaidia. Bro, the more unachapa mtoi, the more mtoi anakuwa kichwa ngumu. Na kuna stage yenye mtoi akifika huwezi mwambia kitu bro. Huwezi mwambia, especially mwanaume. huwezi mwambia kitu. Itafika mahali haikani ngumu, si anajua kukunja.
Nakumbuka mimi nakumbuka ilifika time fulani unataka uchapwe because uko like sasa ni nini
bana.
Because ushatapwa nayo
exactly what I just
like
said.
You can't feel anything.
You're like, just hit me and get it done with, you know, at the end of the day. So
so it's like nitarudi tu kufanya hiyo kitu unanipigia nayo because I make difference. But if you make me understand, okay, exactly. Listen, this is why it's wrong for you to go to this place without having told anyone, you know. Ukini explain ya hivyo, you know, something clicks. So that I know, okay, that makes more sense. But when you just beat me, na usemi kitu, swali ni, you have 4 kids, you've obviously been a parent longer than I have. Kuna hiyo freedom unataka na watoto wako. But, I mean, do you get challenges to create your line for, yes, uko free, but don't mistake, I'm not your friend, I'm your parent first.
The respect has to be there.
Yeah, like the respect has to be there. You know, like, unabalance aje hiyo line ya, okay, yes, I want you to be free and I want you to be able to say anything to me, but please, I am your parent first before I am your friend. So kuna zile siku utakuwa unataka kufanya kitu na itaka mimi ndio kikwazo. Mimi ndio nimekukazia life. You know, mimi ndio nafanya uenjoy life yako. You know, because when it comes to those things, of course, especially if you have like daughters, me, the way I know my dad had a soft spot for my sisters.
Yes.
Like there are certain things he could just not say no to at all. And when he could not say no, he would throw anarushia madhangu noma. Go ask your mother.
That's exactly.
So how do you, your line, is it a fine line or do you struggle with it? Whoever wants to go first.
Yeah, I feel like it's a very straight line for me because I am a strict father as well. As much as I say that I want to be very open with my girls, I am very open with them. But then when it comes to me being me at home, at the end of the day, I'm always that dad. I'd smile a little bit, but I'm still strict. As much as I want my daughter to speak to me literally everything, because I make it like, you know, look like it's fine, you can tell me anything, mama, it's okay. But then when it comes to like, you know, being strict, I'm 100% strict. And when it comes to say no, I say no without even hesitating. And it's not like you say yes for everything. Like my daughters right now do have a day they would say, today is my birthday, it's a yes day. And I'm like, what is a yes day? Because Baba, you hardly say yes. So it's a yes day. I'm like, I don't like yes days. So for me, it's super straight, like, because I'm strict to them, but I still want to be very open because I want to discuss with them things that, you know, as I said, they might protect them and they might literally guide them when they grow up. But then there's definitely that balance. As much as you want to be free, you still have to be strict. And if something gets a no, it has to be a no. And as I said, I'm very, very open with no's. For me, no's come first before I even think. My wife always tells me, like, well, kitu cha kwanza utakata. First thing, like, nataka kitu fulani, naambia no. Like, okay, think about it. And I'm like, okay, I'll think about it. And I'll be like, okay, maybe we can do it. So no for me comes very, like, kitu ya kwanza tu be like, no. Alafu baadaye, I'll think about it and maybe I might, you know, say yes. Yeah, that's me. So for me, it's like very straightforward.
Tafanyaje mtoia juu ya time uko serious or rather akuona line. I think the first thing hata ukipatana leo venye tumepatana mimi na wewe, mtu uonesha the good side kwanza na mtoi. Sawa, onesha kwanza mtoi, hiyo ukali weka kando. Sawa, onesha mtoi wewe unataka kusema kitu fulani. Either kuna mdemu umepata ama una bleed ama sijui kuna umeanza kuona vitu zingine kwa ukidozi, ukiamka sijui unapata kauji kwa unarada vitu kama hizo. Vitu kama hizo niambie, uko free na yeye. Lakini the moment, kwa sababu misses kuonesha kisu na hujananisha fight. Lazima uoneshe fight ndio mtoe silaha. Unaelewa? So mtoi akileta zile za zenye unaona yenyewe mtoi ni kama amesahau mimi nani, ndio unatoa sasa ile ukiitoa tu ile mara moja zile za ati nini na kutandika wewe usidhani mimi ni rika yako, sawa. Unaleta zile za ugwash sasa, ugwangi zile za ugeto, sawa. Ukishaleta yeye anajua nyewe mzaa hadi anaanza kufilter vitu za kukushow. Kwa hapo kwa kukufilter, I guess sasa ni anafa. Unajua as much as a dad unataka mtoia kwa hivi, yeye pia ako na opinions zake, rather options zake za venye anataka kukua. Ziko nila. So I think the best way ni kwanza umuoneshe uko free na yeye, then after that umuoneshe pia kuna boundaries. Na huyu ukimwonesha dadi unataka kwenda Java, unataka kunywa kahawa sawa sana, lakini sizitaka kunywa hii na hii na hii. Umeelewa? So hiyo unamwambia kwa uzuri. Ukipata amefanya, so unatoa ile ukali. Nilikwambia nini? Hivi so uende utaamua kitu, either it's a punishment ama it's an advice ama unampiga jaba hapo moja hadi mzae kama unaweza rusha sawa hiyo design. So I think ni upole before ukali. Just from the way God ako. Before kuingize hell anakupatia kwanza chance ya sijui na rada kitu kama hiyo. So yeah, I think yeah.
I feel you when you talked about changing the diapers, because sisi Uswahilini tamba mwangalia ashafanywa bwege huyu anabadilisha mtoi. I do that bro.
Yeah.
It's just that I'm not at home during the day, so I might not do it quite often.
Yeah.
And when I'm home probably I'm tired, but then I actually don't mind doing it. But it's just that alhamdulillah my wife literally does everything. She's a superwoman. And
that
you know,
that's like having a baby. You know, you read about motherhood and you see sometimes with your eyes, but until you see someone having your child,
yes,
and you realize this baby does not know the difference between their body and your partner's body.
Yes.
For them, it's the same thing. Like that kind of dependency, just a new level of respect for mothers.
That's true.
Like
very true.
A real legitimate level of respect for mothers, because I see what my partner goes through.
Yeah.
And you know, like, because mtoi ajui kitu ingine other than kulia. You know?
That's true.
Like, so you as a dude, for me, it's like I checked into a new level of patience.
Yes.
Because now you understand, this boy does not know anything other than crying. Whether anasikia kujikuna kwa magoti, ama anasikia njaa, yeye atalia. You know? And so when I see what my partner goes through, heshima.
It's very important.
Yeah, like,
they go through a lot. You see the pregnancy phase, the giving birth phase, the raising phase. They're the only, I would say women are the only, or mothers are the only people who would understand the child.
Yes.
Me ukachiwa mtoto sana analia bro, hakuna vile utamsaidia. You will try, maybe give him a little bit some warmth here and there, you know, but the mother, that warmth of the mother, akimshika tu mtoto hivi, anajua tu, you know, and like literally like they know at the end of the day. So they do go through a lot. So respect goes there to mothers who understand the children. At the end of the day, they will always understand. And yeah, you spoke about taking care of the child and changing diapers, and the fact that probably would be like, oh, jamabu again at the end of the day. You see, you have to help. It is something that you have to balance it. Even though you'd be at work throughout the whole day, in the evening, even if you can, I do try.
Yeah.
I get so exhausted when I get home because I work like a crazy day at work, and I come back home around 6:37. So, but I try to see what I can do to help. But my only problem is that when I sleep, Promin Melala.
Oh, Melala.
And right now with newborns, I feel like you understand because it's currently happening to you right now. Watoi wanalala mchana. Usiku is like when they are awake. So you'd see your wife, the mother to your child, literally up all night taking care of the baby. I try, but make ifika past time yangu ya kulala bro past midnight. Hata ukapiga kelele kirumbizi. Mimi siwezi amka.
Mimi nikiletewa mtoi na feel it's my turn to shine. You know, like either I return this baby asleep, otherwise
no way.
Failed.
So you'd stay up until morning?
Sometimes you have to, you know.
Bro, I can't. You're a super dad, man.
You know,
you're awesome.
You know, you read about breastfeeding and you're like, apparently, you know, I have a fitness watch.
Yes.
Breastfeeding, like one session of breastfeeding can burn upwards of 500 kilocalories. Mean kienda zoezi, 500 kilocalories is maybe 5 kilometer run. So you can imagine that's the kind of energy that the mother's body has to expend when they are breastfeeding, you know.
Oh my God,
so
yeah.
sometimes unaweza ona anakaa amechoka, kwani amefanya nini? Si amekaa tu siku mzima ananyonyesha.
Ni kweli. So the fatigue comes
but
from
the fatigue comes from the breastfeeding, you know, because the body is doing a lot producing this milk.
Story ya ku breastfeed kidogo. Siko hapo sana since your time hustle ilikuwa noma, so nilikuwa najituma mbaya. Sasa siku get time ya ku sizi ongelea, at least kuna kitu nimelearn from that, though kitu naweza add just to spice it up. History ya ku change diaper ya mtoi, or rather si ku change diaper peke yake, anything yenye unafanyia mtoi. Kwa wale kuna kittens, or rather uko na just a pet kadogo, sawa, mwenye ana grow. Pet anaga akili, ajua anafaa kufanya nini. But the more unamtreat fiti, kumkulisha, kumshikashika, kufanya nini, unaona ana grow akikupenda. Na kuna kwa ile bond fulani, na unaweza kwa hadi huko hivyo ishasikia harufu yako ama ishakuona inakuja mbio. Same as mtoi. As much as ajui unafanya nini, ajui wewe ni nani and all that, but hiyo kumchange diaper, kumbeba, kumkulisha, kumkunyisha na nini, the more ana grow kuna kwa ile bond fulani. By the time unasikia mtoi analia, mama yake unasikia anataka baba yake, mama yake unasikia anasema anataka baba yake. Mbona kulikuwa na ile bond fulani. Naweza shout out wazae wote huko nje wanasaidia mawaifu mteso wao, mawaifu wao, story za kusaidia watoi na nini. Hiyo kitu ni amazing. Mimi mtu unaweza taka hadi kama nafanya kwa ofisi, na mtoi wangu nimempigisha look. Twende tutulie na yeye. Nampiga maski yake na nini, anasumbua watu nini. Design. Yani hiyo life ni amazing. Unaenda na yeye super, unaenda na yeye at least anaget, kwa sababu as much as mamukoro rather moms wanafanya wana take more responsibility kwa mtoi. Kuna vitu mother hizi muonesha, kuna vitu lazima mzae muoneshe. Pitisha pale kwa chomelea, au ni venye life iko, mpitishe kwa mtura, mpitishe kwa azini. Kuna vitu zenye mwanaume lazima mimi nimereziwa na mom, na kuna vitu kama singereziwa na nko yangu, rather singejituma huko nje, singezijua.
That's true. Lovely.
I remember the first few weeks when after my son was born, I expected the feeling to be more overwhelming. You know, labda ni juu nimewatch movies mob. Watu watching ma movies uko like, oh, msee alilia. But mimi niliona mtoi wangu, I don't like, kulikuwa namwangalia niko like, wow, ni light skin. You know, like hizo vitu zinapita kwa akili yako, sio vitu uli expect. Movie ilikwambia hivi ndio vile utafeel, you know. And so for a bit of time after first few weeks of my son's life, I was really wondering, you know, like, are we going to like each other? And the more I read about it, most people wanakuambia you have to be very deliberate. If you know as a dad, you're not the primary caregiver, obviously it's the mom. If you know between changing diapers, feeding him, nursing him to sleep, burping him, if you know in a day you're going to spend 90 minutes max with your son, I'm fine msumbuani. Like you should be very deliberate. Kama ni bath time na kumchange, it has to be a time that both of you are enjoying.
That's true.
You get. If you're not enjoying it as a person yourself, utaanza kufeel umtoi ni kama anitaki, umtoi ni kama ani like, you know, because let's imagine, because me say I wash him, we alternate with my partner. I wash him, and I always make it a point. Bath time is fun time, so that he relates with. When sazile tunaoga, kwanza he loves the water so much. So you know, you play the music.
Unamwekea baby bath.
Yes, that's the time like you're playing so many games. You know, as you're removing the clothes, like you're playing so many games, so that you maximize. If the total amount of time that I spend with my son is 90 minutes or 2 hours, I find where 1 hour and 45 minutes mulikuwa mnazozana, you know, labda hataki kutoa nguo, alikuwa analia, you know, like, so I always make it so deliberate. But
love that.
Question is, you know, I mean, your son will soon be a teenager. Your daughters too.
Yep.
Do you ever worry about not liking your child. There's a difference between loving them. You know, as a parent, you know you love them and you'll do everything for them.
Yeah.
But do you ever worry that one of your children, you'll end up not liking them in terms of the person they grow up to be? And as a father, how do you reconcile that?
For me, honestly, I've never thought of that, because what I'd want to do if such a situation comes, I'd want to speak to my child at the end of the day and see. And I don't think there is something called like probably dislike to your own child, because you see, the only thing you do, even if you're angry of your child, you're angry because you love them, or you I love that word and try and incorporate it in, you see, parenthood. But then you see, the moment you'd be angry about your child is because you love them, you know. And I've never thought that probably reached a point that I would kind of dislike my child for something they've done. Because what I want to do, I'd want to, even if I don't like what they've done, I'll try and guide them and see how they can be able to be better in what their decision is at the end of the day. So for me, I'm as much as I am strict, I'm full of love. I have a soft spot in my heart that it's like I'm too emotional. This is me. So I don't think that I'll be in a position that I will dislike my own child for something that they've done. I'll try and talk to them and see if I can guide them, like, you know, the right path. But then that dislike is something that I don't think that any parent probably would have. Like, not me myself, I wouldn't say like speak for others, but personally myself, like I don't think that I will probably reach that point. Hata kama nimefanya kitu mbaya kiasi gani, hata man,
you might not be able to dislike your child, but you are expected to be in their corner all their lives, even when they've done wrong, you know. And I think that presents a really huge sacrifice, because what if your offspring has committed a heinous crime and you're the only one who now can be in their corner telling them, okay, my guy, this was a big mistake, but you can make it out of this. You know, like, you can push through, you can learn from this, you can make your life better. And for me, I think that's one of the most profound things about being a parent. I think this is why I know it will open up my heart to love in a way that has never been able to, because without a child, I don't know that I'll be able to stick in someone's corner no matter what. But when you have a child, you know, okay, even when the day comes when they will have hit rock, bottom, and I am the person who's there, I will still be in their corner and I'll be there telling them, listen, you have made a big mistake. These are the consequences, but please understand, I'm here for you. I will be here when they release you from prison, or when whatever happens, I will be here and we will get over this. And I think that when I think about that, I know for a fact that being a father, being a parent, really opens up your heart to be able to love another human being to that extent, because I don't know that I can do that for anyone else in my life.
That's true. That's very true. Yeah, I think that's why I say it, like, you see, as parents, you do not get angry to your child because you don't like them. You get angry because you love them. Na utasikia mzee sengine atasema, oh, sana ni mama. At the end of the day, like, you see, I've had my aunties who say, like, simpendi mtoto wangu kabisa. They don't really mean that. They say that because they love them, and probably they've done something, the child has done something that would make her so angry, they would say, simpendi mimi sana at the end of the day. You know, and if from a parent, it's not like they really mean it. They just say it for the sake of literally showing their child that you've done something wrong. That's basically what I believe. But I would stand by my children through thick and thin. This is me.
Samaki mkunje angali mbichi. What to do is umuoneshe the way ya kuenda, na umuoneshe umkalishe tu chini, kuna hii tabia, kuna hii tabia, kuna hii tabia. Hii tabia haifai. Books zinasema hivi, God anasema hivi na hivi na hivi na hivi. At the end of the day, alikatu venye nimewaambia, kuna stage mtoi atafika itakuwa ni yeye anajiamulia. Na hiyo ndio swali yako, wewe as a parent utafanyaje? So as a parent umejitahidi akiwa mdogo umkunje angali mbichi like before hajakauka. Amefikia juu mali ukimkunja atavunjika na bado anataka kwenda hiyo way. I guess kuna mali nafikanga unasikiaga I'm not in terms with my dad. I'm not in good terms with my dad. I'm not in good terms with my mom. Kuna mali nafika whether you like it or not, you'll just have to be in that path with your son. Since kuna vitu zenye anafanya zenye una feel hizi ni vitu zenye mimi I'm really far from them. Utakuwa na ile love ya dad, utampenda kama mtoi wako na nini, lakini zile matendo zenye anazifanya haita change anything kwa sababu unajua deep down hiki kitu ni mbaya. Sasa jueni mtoi sasa kuja tukatafute sijui nani ama hazi. Unaelewa? So akiwa mdogo wewe mtrain kwa zile akili zako. Unajua the most important things zenye wazazi wanafaa kufocus nayo, rather wazazi wanafaa kufocus nayo. Kitu ya kwanza ni kenye mtoi anapenda. Mtoi anapenda kufanya nini? Make sure anafanya hiyo as in amemaster kenye anapenda kufanya. Kitu ya pili ni nini inaweza muaffect akiwa mkubwa yenye uwezi takaingia ndani. Try kumaster design ya kumweka out of the way kwa sababu bro mimi nikizoesha mtoi wangu design ya ukikula githeri unatapika. Trust me, akiwa mkubwa ile mentality bado itakuwa. Unaelewa? So it's all about kumkunja angali mbichi. But ikifikia mahali umemkunja angali mbichi lakini imefikia mahali bado anaona ai mimi ndio nataka, then itabaki zile za tumekaa chini but nilikwambia hii haifai na hii, lakini naona that's the way you wanna go, you just go, lakini uje mimi siko na wewe hapo. But in case unataka parental guidance ama nini, unataka tu advice na nini, you just come. Wewe ni mtoto wangu bado, nothing will change about that, but hii Kenya umechukua ama inji umechukua, mimi siko na wewe. That's how it goes.
Shape them, make them know the right way. Umefika mkubwa wewe sasa umeamua kufanya vitu unavyotaka. At the end of the day, you see there are things that are beyond our control. And again, you don't want the child to feel like, sasa mimi nimekatazwa and I cannot be me. Okay, do you at the end of the day, but know that to me it's wrong. You know that I'm not happy. But I don't know if it's right to tell them that watu wakafanya makosa bado nitakupenda, but then deep inside you'd still, have that soft spot for your child.
What are fathers not talking about today that absolutely has to be?
I personally feel like as a father, like I don't want to let out everything that I go through to my family and my wife. Because you see, we go through a lot to be able to place that, Java food on the table, or any meal on the table. So we tend not to speak, and it literally kind of demolishes us inside, inatuua ndani kwa ndani, because you want to feel strong. You don't want to look weak. So it is important to speak out, but the only problem that I have is like, whom do I speak to? Because my better half is my wife. And you come home from a crazy day at work and you enter the house, you see your wife so tired, exhausted, probably if she had a day job, and now she's home focusing on children, raising them here and there, try and see what you can do. So you don't want to put that burden on her or on your children as well. So it is important for men to start speaking and talking, but it's important to know whom you're talking to and how you can be able to get help. Because we say it's okay not to be okay, and we go through a lot as fathers, and especially with what's going on in the world right now, raising our children, trying to make ends meet. And I feel like there is a huge problem in terms of fathers, in terms of speaking out.
So basically mental health.
Mental health, exactly. Okay.
So what are fathers not talking about, according to Chef for Islam?
Okay, according to my opinion, and as I say, I think I have two things. One of them, I think as a man, or rather as a father, you should be able to speak to your son, or rather your daughter, about failure. You get? As much as you're out there trying, hustling, doing 1-2 and all that shit. Let's say ni zile za umekaza kamba kufanya kazi venye unafanya kazi. Kuna time wa haijipi. you get, kuna time haijipi. So I think one of the major things mzae anafaa kuileta kwa table, since yeye ndo anazipitia sana kuliko the other side, ni story na failure, like kujikaze na nini, lakini ujue si kila ukijikaza ama kila ukipiga step utapata kitu unataka exactly. But at the end of the day, muhimu inakuwa kuanza, si kupata, kwa sababu ndio upate lazima uanze. Umeelewa? Yeah. Kitu ya pili I think ni one of the major things yenye inaendelea saizi kwa world, it's all about choosing the right partner. You get, choosing the right partner.
I think most fathers today, if there was one thing I would want them to speak more about, it would be responsibility and bearing your cross with honor and dignity. You know, a huge shout out to, you know, a lot of the single mothers out there, women who are raising kids by themselves. You find that a lot of them, it's not out of choice. It's because mtu aliamua tu kujitoa kwa situation because they were like, I'm not ready. And I think when you look at the single mother rate, there cannot be single mothers without irresponsible men, or men who are not willing to at least bear their responsibility. And I wish more men would be coming out and talking about responsibility, as opposed to the Andrew Tates and the Andrew people of the world, you know, because as much as you might agree with some of the things they're saying, the remedy that they offer to young men especially is really, really offside. Being a man is all about, to me, is all about taking responsibility and bearing your responsibility with honor, no matter how difficult or how challenging. Doesn't mean you have to stay with someone you don't like or someone you don't love, but at the very least, be a responsible parent. Show up for your offspring. Don't just abandon your child and leave them to be raised by a single parent. I think more men need to come up and speak about this and be vocal about it. It's not all about, you know, because the Andrew Tates of the world want the young men to know, when you have enough money, you can have all the women you want, but that is not a way to live life. You know, just like you said, the person you choose is very important. And when it comes to women, it's the same. The person you choose to settle down with is very important. I think most men need to be hearing from fathers who are living the right way, being there for their kids, and telling the young men, this is the way to go. It's not about accumulating so much wealth that you can be with any babe you want. Yes. It's more about, are you able to fashion a life that your son or your children or your daughters will be able to look at you and be like, yeah, I want to be like dad when it comes to this. So for me, it's basically responsibility. I wish more fathers came out and spoke about being responsible. And I think we can fix the society if we start speaking more about responsibility and how to be a responsible father, how to be a responsible man. To wind it up, the future. What does the future hold for you as a dad? Let me start. I am looking forward to making an honest woman out of my partner. We're not married.
Nakona hivi ko in love mbaya.
Really good, man.
Yes. We're not married, but she has a very special place in my heart, especially now that we have this amazing creature together.
Yeah.
I intend to make an honest woman of her. I want at the very least 5 kids, if God can bless me with that. I know she will not.
Way to go.
She will not agree to that, but you know, sometimes it starts with a no and then it becomes a maybe.
Yeah,
so,
and that's gonna be okay.
Yeah, so tutasikizana tu. Tutafika mahali. And then we will settle. But for me, that's what I look forward to just doing this the whole 9 years of starting a family and raising a family, doing the whole dinner time thing, and just raising my kids with my partner. Yeah, I hope that's what the future holds for me.
Inshallah, that would be.
Mi kwanza mimi nikuweza kuadisia waifentes. Inshallah. Nataka niko na wife kama watatu hivi.
Yeah.
Si ndio? Si tuko allowed.
Nataka kutimiza dini.
Si ndio? Sawa, so
you're polygamous by choice.
By choice. So
Understand, right?
yeah, yani obvious. Actually adi mtu msema religion so anaelewa, but she's still a woman. You still need to talk it out
It's allowed.
Yeah. So mimi naweza sema nataka juu mzee wangu akona wakili karibu 17.
That's nice.
From different mothers. Sawa, mimi mtu natembea hivi na ule mtu afana na mzee. Ni aje uko viti? Unaitwa nani? Ukisikia sound unasikia ni bro. Unagoteana. So akona watu karibu 17. Na dada different mothers though, but ni watu 17.
Nice.
Unaelewa? So mimi si mtu naweza sema tinda kuona mtu mmoja peke yake. Mpaka sasa hivi ni mmoja kwa sababu ya circumstances. Lakini watoi wanakam. Kama vile content inakam, watoi pia wanakam.
Really good, fantastic. Yeah. So for me, I definitely want to be a better father to my children, as I have a crazy schedule, and I think I've slowed down a little bit right now. But I want to be the father who would see my child grow from, just like Hassan right now, my newborn, from the hospital. I want to see the entire steps he would take until he goes to school, because I didn't see that from my other children. I was busy traveling. If I'm not in the States, I'm in Europe. If I'm not in Europe, I'm in Dubai, because my work was literally traveling. And I remember when I was raising Ajwad, that's like my third born, I'd ask my wife at some point, but I can't remember seeing Aliana, my firstborn, doing this. And my wife would be like, yeah, because you were never home. And you see, that literally really, like, I felt like someone just really stabbed me somewhere and like, you were never home. I was never home for a reason, because I was working to be able to exactly provide. And I want to be a better father because I want to see my child grow. I want all the moments that I missed from my other children. I want to see that. I want to be a better husband for my wife, because they go through a lot in raising the children. I want to be more available for my children rather than me being available for work and making money. So that's me right now. So that's basically my goal, and definitely for the future I do want more children. I initially wanted a football team, 11, but that's not going to happen. And for sure I'm not going to get married to a second or a third or a fourth wife, because for me I feel like I'm just in love with my wife. That's it.
I didn't know how essential it was.
And now
It's really nice to hear from someone who's been a dad for longer than...
bro.
Yeah, and really nice to hear from you as well. So thank you, Java, for having us. And hopefully we can do this again sometime soon.
I think it's lovely and good to see all of you guys. Good to connect out of the digital space, and it's been a pleasure.
Nimelearn, which as much as nimetoa teachings, nimelearn a lot, which is the most important part. Na kuna vitu nilikuwa nazo kwa akili lakini nimechange perspective nyingine, so yeah, I'll be a better dad from the advices that I've had. So inshallah I think tumeongea sasa, bado tu kazi ifanye sasa.